8 things I wish I knew before I started bodybuilding. Make sure you stay around for all 8 of them, as there are some real game changers in there if you're wanting to build muscle.
Merchant! Cap Merchant is in for England!
Number 1, make sure I structure my sessions in a way that's going to get me maximum gains. So a lot of people, when they get into bodybuilding, do the classic bro split. So if you don't know what that means, it's splitting it by your sessions by muscle groups. So it might be that one day you do chest and triceps, next day you do back and biceps, etc. This works great for some people and they can get super jacked with it and get amazing results. Now for me, I discovered pretty quickly this wasn't going to be a optimal route for me. I used to play rugby, I've had multiple surgeries, injuries, niggles that I am working around. So for me to do so much volume on one muscle group was taking a lot of time for me to be able to recover before then doing it again. So I was actually doing less because I was having to recover more. So now what I do instead is I do a whole body split. So I'll do 3 sessions of whole body, which I will do 4 times in a week. So session 1, session 2, session 3, session 1, and then I start the week with 2, etc., and rotate through them. This allows me to split the volume across the week, so I'll never be loading anything too much in one go, and so much better for my recovery. So I'll do day on, day off, generally is how my pattern will go, and I'm able to push myself in those areas and make sure I get an even split and not too much pressure on my joints. So if you are someone that is getting into lifting and you can only train say 2 or 3 times a week, or if you are working around certain injuries, then I absolutely recommend sticking to whole body sessions so you make sure everything's covered and you're not overloading any one muscle group volume wise in a session. If you are training every day, then bro split might be the way for you to go, especially if you're not working around any injuries or niggles. Number 2, the never ending abuse. I never knew people could get so triggered by seeing a muscular, athletic woman online. I genuinely would say I get something at least every day. I'll always screenshot it, I'll send it to my partner Mike, or I'll send it to my group of friends, just the type of things I get. It used to have a massive impact on me. Now it doesn't. I genuinely just look at it and I actually just feel sorry for the person who feels they need to write this nonsense, calling me manly, accusing me of being on steroids. I think that I was so surprised by how much it was, and I genuinely nearly just came off social media altogether. I posted a educational bicep video, how to get bigger biceps, posting about it, and a guy on TikTok stitched it and responded by pretending to throw up and retching. Now I saw that and I was very new to it all, and I was like, oh my god, this is awful, like how embarrassing. And so I said to Mike, I'm not doing it anymore. And he said, well, of course you don't have to if you don't want to, but actually why don't you think about reposting these type of things? Like, you know, take control of it and like show people exactly what it is that you receive. And actually I started doing that and challenging it, and a lot of the time the trolls that were writing it would just back down. They'd delete their comments. Sometimes they'd even apologize and go, oh, I didn't mean offense, when they're saying really offensive things. You're like, well, of course it's offensive. The main reason actually why I highlight these posts, when I was a young girl, there wasn't that many muscular female role models. Muscle was masculine. So even though I needed to be muscular for rugby, I felt uncomfortable when I retired from rugby, and I actually tried to get rid of my muscle mass because I wanted to be feminine, or what I thought was feminine at the time. Weirdly now, I'm the most muscular I've ever been, and I feel the most feminine because I feel like it's me, it suits me, I feel happy, I feel confident. So what I want is for young girls to see these athletic shapes. I want them to be on their social media. I get people message me saying, oh, my daughter loves you, she wants to be just like you. That's why I do it. I think it's really, really an important message for young girls and young boys to see that strong women exist, and that is fine, and it's a route that is an option that is open for them. Number 3, rest is best. Now this one took me a while to crack, because when I played rugby, I was a winger, I was fast, I did explosive movements, not much rest, like high intensity, just really went at it. When Mike, my partner who was coaching me, introduced more rest into my sessions, I did have complaints. And I was like, yeah, but why can't I just do this, or I'll do this instead? And actually I was just going full send, exhausting myself and not getting the most out of my sessions because I wasn't resting enough. So when I took that rest, I very quickly realized that I was getting really good results. I was suddenly, my weights were going up. I was lifting more reps at those weights. It was really working by having that rest. And that's not to say you never have a shorter rest. Like absolutely, when you want to get a pump on, when you're doing supersets with smaller muscle groups, definitely. So if I was doing bench press, for example, I might have my 4 or 5 sets where I'm looking at 2-3 minutes rest. So really looking at long rest to get the most out of those reps and sets that I am doing. If I was doing bicep, shoulder, sort of superset, anything like that, it might be that there's only a minute rest. So I'm getting a pump, I'm working through it and doing that. So rest is best when you're wanting to get real quality out of those lifts. If you're obviously wanting to get that pump, then shorten that rest down completely. Number 4, how often I'd get challenged to an arm wrestle. Genuinely, this will happen within a few minutes of me going to an event. Someone will either say like, oh, go on, give me an arm wrestle, or just grab my arms, come up to me and grab my arms, or say something like, well, I wouldn't want to fight you. Okay, I don't tend to fight people, so you're probably safe. But I actually retired from arm wrestling though, because I used to do it when I was younger. I'd be like, yeah, funny, like go for it. And then one guy actually, it was a barman who'd done it. He challenged me and I beat him. And he jumped over the bar, he got right up in my face and he didn't like it. I think because they like the idea of, oh, I'll challenge you to arm wrestle, but they don't expect me to be stronger than them. And one guy was really pushing it the other day at something when I said no. And he weighed a good 35 kilos heavier than me. I was like, why do you want to challenge someone 35k lighter than you, like in an arm wrestle? Like, come on. So yeah, not for me anymore, but it does come up a surprising amount of times. Number 5, using rep ranges. This one is so important, and I would say it was the singular most important thing that once I'd nailed it, I really started to get gains. So I was guilty, and a lot of people are guilty of this, doing their 3 sets of 12 or 4 sets of 10 or whatever it is that they think they've got to do. But the problem with that is you either finish your set of 12 and go, yeah, cool, and just stop. That's what I used to do. And so we're leaving reps out there and we could have done more. Or we're using really terrible technique to hit that number because we feel like we have to, otherwise we failed it. So I use rep ranges. So for example, I might do a rep range of between 10 and 12 for 4 sets. Now that first set, because I'm fresh, I might even get, I might get the full 12, might even push and get 13. But it's close enough to that rep range that I'm like, yeah, that was great. Towards the end of those sets, if I've really, really pushed it early on with good technique, but pushed really towards failure and strength failure, not technique failure, then it might be that last set, I'm only managing 10, maybe even 9. But don't be scared of finishing on odd numbers. You don't ever have to really push past something and risk injury because you're straining to get a number. If I lifted a weight and I only managed 5 and I'm trying a rep range of 10 to 12, then that weight's too heavy for me. If I manage 20, then I know that the weight needs to be heavier. So it's just a really easy way of sort of working out how to progress. And it's one we use a lot with our clients and helping them to really realize that, because once you do and you understand rep ranges well, your results, they'll go flying up and you'll just understand when to increase it and work well with it. Number 6, should you be eating that? This one, like for someone who used to struggle with eating disorders, this comment used to send me wild. If I was just going to try and enjoy like a pack of crisps or a cake or something like that, guaranteed some person would come up, sometimes even strangers, don't even know you, and they'd be like, should you be eating that? And I think they mean it in a jokey way. But for someone who used to struggle with eating calories, and when you're finally letting yourself do it, was catastrophic. Genuinely, I'd be like, well, I can't enjoy that, put it away, and I wouldn't eat that type of food again for ages.
Sure you want to eat that?
Now, I just go, yeah, absolutely, I should be eating that. Like, it fuels my body, it's part of my balanced nutrition, so yeah, I'm gonna have that. Again, this happens more often than you would think. We moved into our new apartment and Mike went, oh, I bet that I was going down to get the delivery, which actually happened to be a chicken wrap. like high in protein, not anything wrong with it, but someone spotted the fact I had a delivery bag and they're like, oh, should you be eating that? Even if that had been something like, I don't know, like pizza, whatever, yes, I could still be eating that. If you're the type of person who does do that, just a warning, don't do it to someone unless you know them really, really well in their relationship with food and it genuinely is just a joke and you know they're gonna receive it well, fine. But it is a risk. It's a risky thing to say because people's relationship with food is often quite complicated. Number 7, progress can only happen with good technique. I used to play rugby and we did lots of explosive, quick movements. Now, when I came to retiring and I came back into weight, I would move things very, very quickly. I'd move it fast, I'd be explosive, and I was thinking that that was the best way to be. Whereas actually, when you're looking to build muscle, technique is everything. And actually, by slowing down that movement, by controlling that time under tension, you're gonna get far better gains. The second benefit to that as well is you're gonna limit injuries because all the time you are under control. So don't be in a rush to lift big, heavy things. Build up your technique, get the strength right, because once you do that, your strength is gonna increase exponentially. And finally, number 8, I wish I knew how much I'd love it. I would have done it earlier. I was so fearful of putting on mass and looking bulky. It's given me so much confidence in how I look, how I feel, better body image. And to be honest, I think that it has saved me from an eating disorder. I was in a very dark place during COVID and I was in a big dilemma with my food. I wasn't eating healthily at all. Wasn't eating enough, was very scared of calories, was saving my calories up so I could have alcohol, so I wasn't getting the nutrients that I needed, just not in a very good place at all. By getting into training, I'm now so much more balanced with my nutrition. I enjoy my training and I want to get good results, so I need to fuel my body. I can't be on empty, low calories going in and expecting to lift well or move well. I need to fuel my body so it can do the things that I want to do with it. So those are my 8 things that I wish I knew before getting into bodybuilding. I would love to know your comments and your thoughts on this video, whether you found it helpful, maybe more topics that you want me to cover. But either way, if you'd like and subscribe it, I'd massively appreciate it, and I will see you soon.